Namato Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Zem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello everyone, good evening. So today is Sunday the 25th of October 2020, and this is Ajahn Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. So as usual, I'm here with you tonight. So tonight, again, I have a very special guest who is our regular contributor, and often I invite him to share his understanding in terms of the householders' perspectives on different topics. And today, again, we've been talking about the Paticcasamuppada, and I told yesterday that we will focus on that tonight. So, and as a result, today we have Winnie here, who's been a good supporter of the center for a long time and well learned in the Dhamma. Hopefully in the future he's coming to be a monk on one time. If his wife permits. So welcome him, and can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Hello everyone, good evening, and homage to Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. I'm in Aberdeen as a householder. I would like to thank Varapunya Meditation Center giving me this opportunity to give a small talk on Paticcasamuppada, or dependent origination, or Hetuphalavada. It's a great opportunity for us to look into the insight of what is this Paticcasamuppada. And when you are practicing and when you are walking in the path of Dhamma, we all the time we need to keep in mind that Buddha is our teacher and we are disciples. And when you keep that in mind and walk in the path, you need to find a good Kalyana Mitta. So that's why I'm always associating the great monks in this temple. So Buddha says you need to find a good Kalyana Mitta. If not, you will entangle in this cycle of samsara. The whole reason of we are still in this cycle of samsara is because we didn't find a good Kalyana Mitta. Because of that, we are here, and all the Buddhas will teach for us to find a way, the path leading to cessation of this suffering. In this universe, we have traveled eons and eons of years between different realms, and we didn't find the happiness, because in every realm, wherever you go across this universe, there's suffering, birth, old age and death. Doesn't matter, wherever you go, this is the true reality. So the Buddha, the fully enlightened being, will penetrate this suffering, and he will teach us. The whole purpose of Buddha's coming into this realm, human realm, to teach us to penetrate this suffering. So when we are talking about this penetration, it's the teaching of Paticcasamuppada will explain us in detail in 12 steps. So this cycle of dependent origination, consisting of our past life and the present moment, the present life, and our future existence. So it will divide this cycle into 3 sections. So because of a cause, there's an effect. The whole Buddha's teaching is based on Hetu Palavada, cause and effect. That's the entire teaching of Buddha's, based on this Hetu Palavada, dependent origination, or Paticcasamuppada.
Okay, so this is a Paticcasamuppada that we are discussing today. So Paticcasamuppada, as I mentioned yesterday, that one of the very important teachings of the Buddha. And there is a saying by the Buddha himself that one who knows the Paticcasamuppada knows the Dhamma, and one who knows the Dhamma knows the Paticcasamuppada. And the Paticcasamuppada is a compound word which means dependent. Paticca means dependent, and Samuppada means, again, this is co-arising. Sama means together, actually. Upada means arising. So that's why this Paticcasamuppada has been translated into so many different words. Some would say dependent origination, would say dependent co-arising, or even a dependent genesis, like that. And this is again talking about how suffering arises and how suffering ends. And not knowing this Paticcasamuppada, we have been going back and forth in this samsara again and again. And this Paticcasamuppada is again close relationship with the teachings of anatta, which the Buddha gave as the third discourse to the five disciples, first 5 disciples that we have discussed. And after the 5 disciples heard the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, then they understood the anatta, the doctrine of non-self, and which this Paticcasamuppada explains in very complex and in a very simplistic as well. But this is very difficult teachings to understand, and once we understood it, then obviously we will not be coming back to this samsara again and again. As Vinny said, we have to understand that. So Vinny, can you tell us all these 12 links then, and how it works a little bit?
Yeah. I will explain it to you the way I have understood it. I'm not a great scholar, but if I made a mistake on explaining this, it's my fault. Like the way I understood, it's not the fault of the Dhamma. So as I understood, it's in 12 sections. So where it starts is called avidya. Avidya is the main point of our present existence, and it is the root cause of everything, of this endless cycle of samsara. Buddha, when he became the Sammasambuddha, he was looking at what cause, why we are becoming, and what is this the reason, and he dissect, and he went to the root cause of suffering. When he's looking in search of why we are here, why we are becoming again and again, why there's no end to this cycle, he dissect and divide, and then he went through a endless process, and then ultimately he found this ignorance, and this is the root cause of everything. This ignorance, once you have this ignorance, if we are not extinguishing this ignorance, we will keep coming to this cycle of samsara. So avidya, in English it's called ignorance. So this is the first part, and this is in our past lives, because of our past causes. The past cause will be the effect in the future. So in dependent origination, there are two sections belongs to our past, our previous birth. So this two sections is avidya paccaya sankhara. Because of avidya is ignorance, and sankhara is the formations. Because of our past ignorance, there's a formation, and these two sections is belongs to our past, and these two sections are the two causes. So these two causes are linked. Sankhara paccaya vijnana. Vijnana is the consciousness. So once the consciousness, it will link to vijnana paccaya. Because of this consciousness, vijnana paccaya nama rupa. Nama rupa is the mind and matter. In one particular time, there's a quite interlink between the mind and matter. In the subtle reality, the mind causes the matter, and the matter causes the mind. There's interlinked. So because of this nama rupa paccaya salayatana. Salayatana means the six sense spheres. So because of this six sense spheres, salayatana paccaya passa. Passa means the contact. Pacca passaya vedana. Vedana means the feelings. So until that link, that's the seventh link. So I'll go back again. The first link is avidya. The second link is sankhara. The third link is vijnana. The fourth link is namarupa. The fifth link is salayatana. The sixth link is passa. The seventh link is vedana. So until that point, it's the present effect. So we were talking about the past cause, are avidya and sankhara. Because of these past causes in the present effect, there are 5 present effects because of this past 2 causes. So the present 5 effects are linked to present causes. There are 3 present causes. They are craving, tanha, upadana, clinging, and then bhava, becoming. So the present effect are linked to the present causes, and then because of this present causes there will be a future effect, the cause and the future effect. So there will be 2 future effects. Those are birth means the jati, and once you born to the next birth, then again there will be jara, marana, aging and death. So that completes the full cycle of Paticcasamuppada. So it's all interlinked. Hetu, cause, and phala, the effect. So because of a cause there's an effect, and there's an effect and there's a cause. So that is the cycle of Paticcasamuppada, the 12 sections. These 12 sections are linked to our past birth, the present birth, and to the future birth. So it's a cycle. This is the cycle of samsara. And
this Paticcasamuppada, you've been explaining that it's a past, present, and a future.
yes,
Conditions. How can we apply this in present day? How can we explain this? Because
in day to day, as lay people and as venerable monks, we all will interact with society. When we are interacting with society, and we'll have clashes. Everybody, doesn't matter a lay person or a monk, when we are interacting with each other, we are human beings. Like some incidents we like, so then we will attach to them, so the craving will begins. So that's a cause. And with some incidents we don't like, when we meet different people, different accidents, we will create aversion, anger. So it's a constant battle with craving or aversion, and doesn't matter wherever you go. Even if you go to the marketplace, or you go to your work, or you go on a picnic, or we have a meeting, we are interacting, we are social beings, we meet people and we interact with each other. When we are interacting, we are always causing things. Those causes will leading to an effect. So when we interact, we have cravings and aversions. Those are the causes, and because of these causes there will be future effects. And when we are happy, we'll have some effects because of that. When we are angry, there will be future causes, and it's a constant battle between these two, good and bad. And all these things will happen because of our ignorance, because we don't understand the true nature of what's going on around us. Because of that, sometimes we'll get happy and excited, and we think, oh, okay, this is very great, this person I love this person, and this person make me happy, and a happy person. It's a delusion, and we accumulate karma, and this karma will lead us to our next birth. And at the same time, when we have conflicts, then we create anger and ill will, hatred, and it also will lead us to our future. So it's a constant battle. Doesn't matter we are a lay person or a venerable monk. We are in this cycle of samsara, and we need to understand this, because we didn't understand we are here.
So in order to be enlightened, to understand this Paticcasamuppada, and in order to enlightened, one should become a monk or not, or lay people can be enlightened too?
Lay people can be enlightened too. That is that's the truth. But there's always a but. The thing
I
is,
think that's a big but.
Big but, yeah. The thing is, as lay people, if you are very ardent, and if you have a lot of courage and determination, lot of concentration, and less commitments, it will be a bit easy. It's like you are going on an A road, and when you become a monk or a nun, it will be like you are going to the same destination on a motorway. So there's a big difference between you are going on an A road to a destination, or you are going through a motorway to the destination. That's my understanding.
Yeah. So this is just to remind you that yesterday I got a message from one of our listeners asking that whether in order to be enlightened one should become a monk or a nut. So that's why I've just asked from Vinny, and he also correctly said that it is not necessarily to be a monk to be enlightened, and that is the fact. And the only difference is if you become a monk, you have more opportunity to practice and to learn, and that is, Vinny said, it's like a highway. And this is again not every monk's walk, driving on a highway, and they do sometimes take a country road, okay, and again sometimes they're just lost in that country road. Yeah, so it is possible to be enlightened as a lay person too. And again, when we look at the history of the Buddha's time, there are plenty of lay followers who become enlightened, possibly similar amount of venerable monks. So that's why do not be discouraged to be enlightened or working towards the enlightened. enlightenment. And again, if you're thinking to become a monk, again, make sure that you are given a good permission from whether your partner or your family members, and you can be a monk, so you can go into the highway road that Vinny said. Okay. And another thing, I just wanted to give you this what explanation that Vinny was talking is the dependent origination, or the Paticcasamuppada, is that he divided Vinny just divided into past, present, and the future. And the past is the cause, and the present is the effect, and then there is a section of the present cause in order to be in a future effect. But this is, again, although it's divided into past, present, and a future, again, we shouldn't be to literally take it as a past, present, and a future. This we can see in our day-to-day life too. Everything that arises, every sensations that we feel, as Vinny explained about anger and happiness, that arises here and now, and not knowing that in its true nature, then we volitionally act into different ways, into the right and the wrong. With this, we become happy or unhappy. So that's why this Paticcasamuppada is one of the very difficult subjects to understand. Even the Buddha, as I mentioned yesterday, that he spent so many weeks after he became enlightened contemplating on this teachings, and he again thought for himself that this is so subtle, so difficult to understand, and he even thought not to teach. But fortunately, his compassion led him to teach this Dhamma. And then again, following days, we will be discussing on this. Let's see how far we can go. Unfortunately, our time is just about to end. We don't have long time. It's just a half an hour. But this teachings is so huge doctrine. And as I earlier on said, that if you know Paticcasamuppada, or dependent origination, you know the Dhamma. And if you know the Dhamma, then you know the Paticcasamuppada. Further on, Buddha even says, if you know this, you know the Buddha. So this is one of the greatest teachings, and this is again about the causality, and this causality teachings is completely different from the Western view of a causality, law of a causality, because in the law of a causality it's like a spiral, one after another, whereas in the Paticcasamuppada is working one another. So that's the one can be cause, and a similar time that can be an effect in the same place too. Okay, so that's why this is a very profound teaching, and also would like to thank you, Vinny, for coming and sharing his understanding and his knowledge in his perspectives. Unfortunately, maybe in future we will invite him to give his view in terms of the layman's perspective. So with this reflection today, unfortunately, I have to end here. So thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow. And may you all be well and happy, and take care. And may the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you. In few moments time, we're going to have a chanting and guided meditation. Until then, good night, and see you shortly. Thank you. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.